Hey, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to the Anything by Ryan podcast. If this is your first time watching, I am now going to do them, well, a good majority of them. My hope is to do them actually with video. So, this is exciting. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a lot easier. I think it's gonna be more rewarding. And I don't know if I'm going to post these on YouTube yet or if I'm going to turn this into short form content. I have not fully indulged or educated myself enough within the software to actually know where to get started. So that is on me. That is my responsibility to figure that out. But today I want to talk about something really specific. I want to talk about my experience as a people pleaser and how I have been navigating through recovering from that. It seems like more and more people that I'm talking to and that I'm kind of surrounding myself with, especially on social media, that is, perhaps the algorithm is just helping me within that, but it seems like a lot more people are people pleasers. That is something that they are navigating through. That is something that they can't seem to shake, or they're trying to figure out how to do that. And it's like you're an onion. You have to peel back all the layers, like all of the layers, to be able to finally figure out who you are behind all of this. Because there can be so much for you to learn. There can be so much for you to figure out. And how are you going to do that without first recognizing the fact that you are a people pleaser, right? And I'll tell you about my personal experience. Feels like it was sitting under my nose the entire time. And I knew it as well. I knew that I was a people pleaser for years. For years, I knew that I was a people pleaser. But it was like, it was a part of me. It was like saying, yeah, like, I love hanging out with friends. Yeah, I'm a people pleaser. I said that so casually, like there wasn't anything wrong with it. And I was told that I was too much. I was told that I was too annoying, that I cared too much, that I shouldn't have been as sensitive, and that I was texting people too much or calling people too much. When in reality, I was just trying to get to know everybody. I was just my intentions were pure. My thoughts were pure. If there was a girl that I was interested in when I was younger, like teenager, like what I would have done for her was I would have went tirelessly out of my way to make sure that she knew that I cared about her. She knew that there was a good guy in her life. Like I was setting an example. That is exactly what I was trying to do. If you heard that, my phone has 20% battery remaining. So, of course it does. This shit dies all the time. And I would go out of my way to please people. And it wasn't until my long-term relationship ended almost 6 months ago. It wasn't until that point when I finally realized, you know what? Trying to please everybody doesn't work. Trying to please everyone does not work. It never goes the way that you want it to. It will not work for you. They will not like it. They will not appreciate it. They will not value it. They will not respect you for it. I was the nice guy. I was the guy that got friend zoned. I was the guy that couldn't say no to any anybody or anything, because I never felt like I had anybody. I never felt like I had anything. And the reason I felt that way was because I never figured that out for myself. I never figured out what I had. I never figured out what I wanted. I never figured out what I needed. And I was raised or conditioned within my life to believe that everything I needed and everything I wanted had to be outsourced. I had to come from other people because I couldn't find it within myself. Or it may have been that nobody had told me to find it within myself. Like, I don't think, I mean, I played a lot of Legos when I was a kid. I played a lot of guitar. Like, I listened to a lot of music. I went to the gym a bit, like when I was younger, and I thought to myself, like, oh, I love doing these things alone. But the moment that I was lonely, I was calling everybody. Like, I was going out of my way to try and find somebody. But no one had ever sat me down and said, hey, don't you think that maybe you should love yourself a little bit more? Don't you think that maybe you should try to stop pleasing other people as much? Don't you think that maybe you should look in the mirror, see the person that you've become, and just realize how amazing they are? And that's something that I didn't do until 6 months ago. That is not something I could have done. And I think if I looked in the mirror any time before that, I just would have been disgusted. I was proud of the goals that I was achieving, but I could never look in the mirror and say, pat on the shoulder, be like, you're doing great, buddy. I'm proud of you. You ever held your heart and thought of yourself as a child and thought, you are loved, you are appreciated, you are valued beyond measure? And if other people don't value you, just remember that you do, and that's enough. Have you ever said that to yourself? It took ending a long-term relationship for me to finally stop pleasing other people. And it was so hard for me to accept that. It was so hard for me to come to terms with that. It took ending a long-term relationship. It took taking a lot of people out of my life to be able to figure out what it is that I want and what I needed. But now that I have done that, now that I have learned my lesson, the only person that I need to please is myself. The only person I need to love is myself right now. And going back into a relationship again, man, I'm kind of fucking scared about it. But if there's one thing that I'm looking forward to is I'm actually looking forward to the challenges. I'm looking forward to having arguments with people. I'm looking forward to being able to state my opinion very strongly and clearly and say, hey, I think that we should do this. Like, I think this is a good idea. I think that we should not do this and do that. Like, but I'm kind of getting a little carried away here. Sorry. I have a stiff neck. Okay. What are some of the lessons that I learned as a people pleaser? You will go out of your way constantly to do everything for everybody until you learn. Until you learn, you will do that. You will put everybody's needs before your own. You will see everybody in your life as better than you or more deserving than you, or like you'll see them as amazing people, which is awesome, which is really, really great. Like you will see all the best in everybody except for yourself. That's the first thing. What's another thing? You will, the moment that you are alone for for a long extended period of time, you're going to almost feel desperate to spend time with somebody. You are going to be either depressed or lonely or seriously bored out of your mind. But if you're not doing a hobby that you love, And if you're calling everybody and no one's answering, you're having a hard time. That is another fact. Well, at least that's what happened for me anyway. Let's see another thing. Because you're a people pleaser, you will also be doing a lot more for other people. And you will have less energy, less time, and less motivation for yourself. It's going to be hard for you to make your own decisions. It's going to be hard for you to actually step into who you are. And when someone asks you to do something, you say, no. They're going to be like, what? And you're going to respond, no, I don't want to do that. You're going to look like an asshole, like right away. The moment you stop pleasing everybody, you're going to look like an asshole. And that's kind of where I am right now. I'm kind of feeling like an asshole, to be quite honest with you. I don't necessarily love that, but that's how it goes. It's when you give so much to everybody, and then you start giving everything back to yourself, that middle area, you're going to have to figure out how to balance both of those things. You're going to have to figure out how to give to other people and how to give to yourself at the same time. I kind of like that I did that. You're not going to know how to do it right away. And for those of you that can, I reward you. I applaud you for it. But it's like, I'll give you a perfect example tonight for me. I texted someone recently that I had gone out on a few dates with in the past. She's a great person. And we hadn't connected for a while. I kind of was hesitant about it. I was like, you know what? Like, let me just see if she's free. Let me just see if she's free. Like, what's the harm in that, right? Like, we both had a great time. We just lost touch. I was like, hey, let's reconnect. And I reached out. I'm like, hey, do you want to get together? Like, do you want to do something? And, 1 hour went by, I hadn't heard anything. 2 hours went by, I hadn't heard anything. And it got to a point for me where I suddenly got in my head and I regretted the decision I made. But the person that I realized, the voice that inside of me that was speaking hasn't been speaking for a long time. I heard, Ryan, why would you do such a thing? Why would you put yourself out there in a position where you can get hurt? Why would you put yourself in a position where someone's going to ruin you? Why would you put yourself in a position where you could, care about someone again? Why the fuck would you do that? And I was so angry. I was so upset. I was internalizing all this. And you know what? Nothing's even happened yet. I still haven't heard back. But that's the conditioning. That is the people pleaser mentality, right? Is, why don't I go out of my way to do something for somebody? What's the worst that can happen, right? It's like, I love doing that. I love pleasing other people. I love going out of my way to care about other people. Why don't I go out of my way to care for somebody? But tonight was like me trying to get out and just socialize, and because it has been a while for me. I've just been kind of staying in my own little nest here. Like, I only socialize at the gym, really, And I put myself out there, sent her a message, and I haven't heard back yet. And then instantly, this other mindset comes in. It's like, why did you do that? And I was upset with myself for a bit, but I realized, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to regret the decisions I make anymore. I'm not going to feel bad about wanting what's best for me, about trying to go out there and socialize. Like, I'm going to applaud myself for it. I don't have to go out of my way to seek validation from anybody, but I have to validate myself when I make a decision, even if it's a bad one, even if it doesn't go the way that you want it to. You have to applaud and reward yourself for it. And I might be getting carried away from the whole people pleaser thing, but it's true. You have to applaud yourself. You have to reward yourself. Because when you are done people pleasing, who do you have left to please? You got to please yourself. For those of you that might not be listening, I was pointing at myself with both my hands. You got to please yourself. You have to put yourself first. You've got to reward yourself. And like, think about now, like I call myself a retiring people pleaser now. That's what I do. That just works for me. And I tell people that. And so that way they know it's like, okay, this guy is working through his shit. Like he's he struggled with it, but he acknowledges it. And I don't have to tell people that I'm a retiring people pleaser, but I tell myself that so that I keep learning. And it's working. It is really working. I haven't felt this, pleased with myself in a really long time. Or ever. And every now and then, if you want to go out of your way and do something that's a little scary, you want to put yourself in a position where you might feel vulnerable, or you might feel nervous, you might feel scared, whether it's asking someone out or it's like, I don't know, that's the only example I can think of right now. Like whatever it is, if you feel like you're kind of going back into that people pleaser state, remind yourself that, hey, that's not what this is. I'm not desperate for someone's attention. I'm not seeking anyone's validation. I'm simply looking for more connection. I'm simply looking to socialize more. I'm simply going out of my way to network. Like I'm going out of my way to find more connections in my life, to find more opportunities. And you can't, when you're a people pleaser and you're recovering from that, you cannot see socializing as a bad thing. You have to disassociate your people pleasing mentality from your socializing mentality. Because as humans, we long for connection. We long to be with other people. And if your problem is that you're always with people or wanting to be with people, you cannot completely disassociate yourself with people. That is the worst fucking thing. That just, if anything, that will make you more avoidant. That will make you more disassociated, like with your emotions. That will make you, more sensitive. That will make you like more challenged. And the moment that someone comes into your life that might really matter to you or might really value and might really respect you, and you push them away because you don't know how to let anyone into your life again, that is a very difficult thing to do. That would be a hard thing to go through. I'll leave it at that for today. Thank you so much for joining me on my first video episode, that is. My video's choppy. Sorry about that. It's my stupid phone dying. Until next time, see you later. Peace. Follow me on Instagram. Catch you later. I keep doing this. Peace and love all around.